Welcome students. So we'll continue with the topic parts and wholes. So today we'll see what are fractions. So basically a fraction consists of a numerator and a denominator. This is a fraction. 3 upon 4 is said to be a fraction, wherein 3 is said to be and 4 represents d. So what m represents? M represents numerator and d represents denominator. Okay, n represents numerator, d represents denominator, and 3 upon 4 is said to be a fraction. So there are 3 types of fraction. First one is a proper fraction, second one is an improper fraction, and the third one is a mixed fraction. So we'll see all these 3 types of fraction. So the first one is a proper fraction. So what happens in proper fraction? A proper fraction is a fraction wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. The numerator is less than the denominator. Okay, the numerator is less than the denominator. Example, two upon 4. Okay, example 2 upon 4. Basically, this is a fraction, right? 2 upon 4 is a fraction. What is so what 2 represents? 2 represents numerator. 4 represents denominator. Okay, so what the rule says for the proper fraction? The rule says numerator should be less than the denominator. 2 represents m, 4 represents d. Okay, 2 upon 4 is a fraction wherein 2 represents numerator, 4 represents denominator. So the numerator should be less than the denominator. Is numerator less than the denominator? Yes. Okay, the numerator is 2. Wherein the denominator is more than the denominator. Numerator is 2. Okay, denominator is more. It's a higher, correct? Than 2. Okay, so 2 upon 4. Okay, is a fraction. Okay, it's called as a proper fraction. So proper fraction is what? Proper fraction is a fraction wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. Again, second example, I can write 10 upon 20. Is 10 lesser than 20? Yes, no? 10 is less than 20. So numerator is less than the denominator. Is called as a proper fraction. Again, example 50 upon 100. Again, 50 is less than 100. Correct? Is 50 greater than 100? No. 50 is less than 100. So numerator is less than the denominator is called as proper fraction. And what about improper fraction? So what about improper fraction? Improper fraction is just opposite of proper fraction. So what happens? Numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay? Numerator is greater than the denominator. Example, can anyone give me example? 4 upon 2. Is numerator greater than the denominator? Yes. 4 represents m. M represents what? Numerator. D represents 2 represents denominator. Okay? 4 represents numerator, 2 represents denominator. So what the rule says for improper fraction? Numerator is greater than the denominator. So is numerator greater than the denominator? Yes. So it is called as improper fraction. Again, second exercise, second example, 100 upon 50. Is numerator greater than the denominator? Yes. So I say 10 upon 5. Is numerator greater than the denominator? Yes. So understood, students? Improper fraction. Improper fraction is a fraction wherein the numerator is greater than the denominator. And what happens in proper fraction? Proper fraction wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. So we finish two fractions. One is proper fraction and one is improper fraction. So the proper fraction is numerator is less than the denominator. Improper fraction is what? Numerator is greater than the denominator. And the third one is a mixed fraction. Okay. So the mixed fraction, what is a mixed fraction? It is a mixture of a numerator, denominator and a whole number. What is a whole number? A whole number is a single number. Okay, a whole number is a single number. Mixed fraction. So what happens in mixed fraction? Okay, 2 represents what? 2 represents numerator. 4 represents what? 4 represents denominator. And what this 3 represents? 3 represents whole number. Okay, we say it W. Okay, so whole number, numerator, denominator is a mixed fraction. 3 represents whole number, 2 represents numerator, 4 represents denominator. It's called as mixed fraction. The mixed fraction, example of a mixed fraction I can say okay, 7 represents whole number, 3 represents numerator, 2 represents denominator. Understood, students? How to identify these fractions? 7 represents whole number, 3 represents numerator, 2 represents denominator. Same way, 2 upon 4. 3 represents whole number, that is W. 2 represents numerator and 4 represents denominator, that is 3. So this all 3 digits. Okay. Is called as mixed fraction. So we have 3 types of fraction. Which are those? One is proper fraction, one is improper fraction, and one is mixed fraction. Can we revise all these fractions? Okay. So the fraction has a numerator and a denominator. Correct, students? It has a numerator and a denominator. So the improper fraction. What does the improper fraction say? The improper fraction wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. Okay? Numerator is less than the denominator is called as proper fraction. Example 1 upon 2, 2 upon 4, 5 upon 10, wherein the numerator is less than the denominator. Improper fraction is just the opposite of proper fraction, wherein the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay? Like 10 upon 5, 100 upon 50, 25 upon 5. Okay, so the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, it's called as improper fraction. And mixed fraction is what? Mixed fraction, we have a whole number, an additional number called a whole number. We have a whole number with a fraction. Okay, so W represents whole number and a fraction represents a numerator and a denominator. Understood, students? What is the next fraction? So in this exercise, we have to identify the fractions. You have to identify the fraction. It may be a proper fraction, it may be an improper fraction, it may be a mixed fraction. I will give you the fractions. You will have to identify the fractions. Whether it is a proper fraction, whether it is an improper fraction, whether it is a mixed fraction. You have to see if the numerator is greater than the denominator. You have to identify the fraction whether it is a proper, improper or a mixed fraction. Thank you, students.